Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Project No Suhr. That's where I'm going to take this very, very fake Suhr guitar and kind of fix it up, tweak some of the weird issues with it. Of course, remove the Suhr off the headstock, and on the back it says, made in the USA. Definitely not. So there's a few things we need to do with this. Now, this is actually a really nice reproduction guitar. It plays nice, it sounds nice. There's a lot of things to like about this guitar, but of course it is a horrible, fake, illegal forgery. So that's the thing we need to deal with first, and then we're gonna kind of tweak it and see if we can get this thing playing really nice. All right, so we've got our Project No Suhr guitar up on the desk here. What we're gonna do is, of course, remove the trim and take a look inside the pickup cavity as well. Obviously, I've removed the screws. So there you guys go. Wilkinson trim, nice big block there for sure. Full-size pots in there, and a better switch than I've seen on a lot of overseas guitars that come with like plastic, super cheap switches, and then split coil right there. So nice for sure. So what we're gonna do is, I've already loosened off a few components. So let's pull the springs off here. If I can do that, there we go. And then pull the trim through the bottom side. There we go. See if I can just pull that out. Obviously with no strings on the guitar. So yeah, there's the trim. Not too shabby. So that's great. Let's remove the springs there. And then let's pull off the neck. So here's what she's looking like. I mean, you gotta say, a nice quilt top on there. Fade burst finish, and as I mentioned, like, the guitar plays nice. The pickups sound good. Nice big abalone dot inlays on the neck. So yeah, it's a shame that somebody didn't just make a nice guitar but had to make a reproduction or whatever, or a very, very illegal reproduction. So anyway, let's pull the neck off here. Okay, I think she's ready to come off. Yeah, that one is loose. Might as well see if those ones will come loose as well. Nice tight neck joint for sure. Let's see if I can just slip it out. Wow, that is impressive. Here we go. Yeah, really nice tight tight fit on that. Not quite expecting it, but there's what it looks like. Definitely no serial number on the butt there. If the camera will grab that, somebody just like hastily sealed and painted that, because you're like, we won't see that. But yeah, the neck itself, quite nice. That one got a little chewed up there. But yeah, there you guys go. There's your made in the USA neck. And here is the heel. So incredibly tight fit on the neck. Like I keep saying, I mean, this is a decently nice made guitar. So that's kind of like the body. We're going to set that aside for now and kind of deal with the neck. So next step is I'm going to pull off the Grovers. These are actually locking tuners. So this isn't the style where you have like the thumb wheel, but it's got an internal cam. And so again, like, really nice locking tuners on this as well. And obviously the logo here is underneath, the logo here is underneath the finish. So this all has to come off. And it's, like I said, a shame because it's not going to look half as good once it's all sanded down. But we got to get rid of it. So everything's coming off the headstock, and then we'll break out the sandpaper. All right, tuning machine's ready to come out. Let's take a look inside and see what it's like in there. All right, so here it is. Not the cleanest I've ever seen, but yeah, gets the job done. So anyway, step one, let's break out the sandpaper and take off the Made in the USA and the serial number. What I'm going to do is sand it kind of just flat along the back and then out to this cheek area here. That way, if I decide to refinish it, depends how far I need to sand down to remove this stuff, then I can just refinish just this area up to there. And if it doesn't match perfectly, then at least it'll have like a nice dividing line. So anyway, we'll grab the sandpaper and go to town. All right, so here's what it looks like after, you know, the initial sanding. I'm just gonna wipe away the excess residue of wood here. I did the main sanding away from all my music gear. So there you go. This is sort of what it looks like, kind of sanded up along the edges. I don't know, I think it's gonna be pretty hard to kind of match up that walnut stain onto the headstock. Maybe I'll try and it'll just be like slightly different, but yeah. Anyway, there it is. Step one is complete. Now, as I mentioned, it's gonna be a shame because I'm gonna have to do the same thing to the front of the headstock. There's no way to get to, you know, the logo without removing a bunch of clear coat. And I think once I start sanding, you know, to keep the little veneer here in, without going through it with the sandpaper is gonna be a massive challenge. So I think, you know, once I start going, I'm gonna have to just go through it all and it's gonna look like this on the front too. So anyway, we'll have to talk about some finishing options to make it look halfway decent. But anyway, let's grab the sandpaper and head to the other room and take off the front. All right, you guys, we've got our 100 grit sandpaper. Man, you hate to do it, but it's gotta be done. So here we go. Now, as you can see, I'm through the clear coat just over the logo area. I've been mostly focusing there. So as you can see, we're making some headway. So we'll keep taking off that clear coat and yeah, see if we can just disappear the logo. All right, you guys, here's an update on the headstock. As you can see, the Suhr logo is gone and I haven't burned through the veneer yet. So I think what I'm gonna do is just try to remove maybe some of this stuff around the edge, the black burst, but keep the veneer intact so we don't have to go like full on down to what looks like mahogany to me anyway. So yeah, we're gonna try to keep that on the headstock. I'm gonna sand it for a few more minutes here and we'll be back. All right, you guys, I'm back and here's what I've been up to. Number one, the back of the headstock. As you guys can see, I've stained it brown and in comparison to the neck, it's not quite red enough. It's better than the raw wood for sure, which really stood out. But when you look at the color matching, you're like, okay, the red is a very kind of rich, yeah, reddish brown mahogany kind of thing. And then when you get to the headstock, it's just a little bit more brown. And of course, there is no finish coat on here yet. So obviously there's a nice satin gloss on the neck and no finish at all on the headstock. So that's something that I'd like to do yet. But there you guys go. I think it's a definite improvement, like I said, over the raw wood, but didn't quite get the color match perfect. So there you go. And on the front, well, there you go. I was able to keep the veneer in most spots. It did burn through in a couple, but as you can see, the logo's gone. And what I had to do is just kind of fade the black into the color. And I'd like to maybe get that a little bit cleaner too. But yeah, it was starting to eat through right where, you know, the veneer kind of turns the corner up into the fingerboard there. It got really thin. So had to keep the black there and just kind of like fade it in. And then I just used a quick wipe on poly to give it a little bit of sheen. Not a lot. So that's kind of what's happened with the neck. Let's put a new set of tuning machines on here and yeah, see how it looks. All right, you guys, so I've put the guitar back together. Let's see what we all have going on. Now, these are Tone Emporium pickups, Wilkinson trim. All I did aesthetically on the body was to add some dark knobs. Those bright chrome knobs and you know, all the black hardware just didn't really jive. So now we've got something that still looks, you know, quite modern, but without just knobs that really pop in your face. And then I set it up for 10 gauge strings. That's it. So I still have the back cavity off because I was adjusting that. So that's all set up. Everything's good to go with the body. Didn't really have to make too many changes. I do like how these pickups sound. They are really affordable, and maybe in the future I'll upgrade them to just straight black ones instead of the zebra coils. But for now, you know, we're just doing something cheap and easy. So the next on, as I mentioned, some really nice abalone inlays and stuff on there. You've seen the back. So here we go on the headstock. As you can see, we've upgraded to blacked out tuning machines. We had those bright chrome Grover lockers on there before. And again, you know, just when we're talking about the overall vibe of the guitar, you kind of want to match front to back. So here's what it is. Now, when you look closely at the headstock color and you look at the body, you can see because I, really had to sand that down to get the logo off, it's close, but the headstock's a little lighter just because I had to sand it down. So when you look at that, sort of that deep charcoal, blacks, grays, some greens, and then you look here, it just looks a little bit more faded. But overall, I think we kind of accomplished, or at least I accomplished what I wanted to do, which was number one, get the Made in the USA off the back of the headstock and to get the Suhr logo off while kind of retaining, the essence of the guitar, because it is a cool instrument for sure. So now it's just a no-name brand, guitar, but it still sounds and plays pretty good. Now there is one more issue I do want to solve with this guitar, and it has to do with the spacing of the trem. If you guys remember when I first bought it, the Wilkinson trem is for a Strat, but the posts are not quite Strat width. So I don't know if the camera will grab that, but one of the posts, anyway, it's just on the very, very edge of the trem. And I'd like to maybe get a trem that fits it properly. You can see on the one side, there's like a half moon kind of notch, and that centers the trem. On the other side, there's a blade, and the post on the other side is just on the outside edge of that blade. So not ideal. One of the big things that, lets you know you're not dealing with an actual Suhr when you look closely. But yeah, and also I did a Graphtec string tree. Because these locking tuners have 2 tall posts, 2 medium posts, and 2 short posts, you really I probably didn't need to do any, any of them at all, but I decided to do one Graphtec string tree right there. So that kind of keeps things hopefully moving nice and smooth. And of course on the back, these hip shots are some of my favorite just because you get those exposed gears. I'll try to catch it here. But yeah, those exposed gears, you can see them on the back side of the headstock, just look so great. I just love how that looks, that black with that shot of gold or brass. Just looks phenomenal. So anyway, let's plug it in and take a listen. Yeah, I mean, so it's a versatile guitar, and I think the pickups do sound really good and respond really well to kind of taking the volume off. So that's just, a little quick look at Project No Suhr. As I mentioned, now it's just a regular guitar. No branding, no nothing, but overall, really serviceable and a pretty fun guitar. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed Project No Suhr. Now we've got a guitar that is not illegal, that anybody can pick up and enjoy and play, which was the overall goal of this project. So there you guys go. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to do so. Other than that, have yourself a great day. Take care.